Good to go. Well, I guess we're ready. So, thank you for you that are in attendance in person and those that are on Zoom. Seems like more are attending Zoom just based on what we've got here in the room. But again, thank you for coming. My name is Ben Tarbutton. I'm a planner with Kootenai County. And what I hope to do is kind of introduce you to our new software, IMS, for permitting and project applications.
Oh my word. No, you were muted. I'm sorry.
I'll start that again. That was a practice run. Sorry, I was just muted, so I'm going to begin again. Welcome. My name is Ben Tarbutton. I'm a planner with Kootenai County. We're going to do an introduction for IMS, a new software that we have for permits and project applications. So again, thank you for your attendance, and hope it will be beneficial. I know we are all extremely busy. This is a crazy year for all of us, and so again, appreciate your time. Oh, there we go. Okay, so 2021, no surprise, right? Right now, first 6 months of this year compared to the first 6 months of last year, we are up 43% on our building permits, and we are up 73% on our site disturbance permits. Again, that's probably no surprise to a lot of you because it is extremely busy right now. So what that has meant is that there have been areas within our current system, track it, that have shown to be insufficient for what we need. And so we have looked for other options, and IMS has come to save the day. IMS, Intuitive Municipal Solutions, is a web-based interface. You'll find that it is going to be more efficient to use, and it will be more user-friendly. So again, we'll go through some of the applications that you will find most helpful. And then again, any questions that we're going to have, we'll kind of wait for the very end so that we can kind of get through the presentation and then go through your questions. Our go live date for IMS is going to be July 19th. So that means staff is still in the process of building, testing, and working through the system, trying to work out any bugs or things that we may have. So this is going to be more of a larger overview. And I don't know if all the questions that you have I'm going to be able to answer. So we'll certainly, again, make note of those and get back to you as soon as we can. Now, I just will let you know that we will have this presentation posted on the website. It is being streamed on YouTube, and we will have it available again on YouTube. So that if you wanted to go back through, you could also do that at your convenience. I guess I'm out of range. There we go. So what we're going to be doing again is creating a user account or registering a new user, how to go through the application submittal process, how do you schedule inspections, how do you make payments, and information that may need to be corrected, how do you get that information uploaded. So to begin with, this is going to be the screen that you'll see when logging into the I guess they call it the IMS suite. It's similar to Trackit, in which you have a login and a password. If you are a new user, and everybody will be a new user at the beginning, so you will need to register. So if you wanted to either click register there or register as a new user there at the bottom left-hand corner, you can do that. Put your email, password information, and then it'll send you an email notification to verify. You can proceed as a guest here in the bottom left-hand corner. But that will limit your abilities or your access. So again, the preferred way would be registering. That way you have full account access. So again, once you've registered, you validate through the email, and that will get you to log in. That will bring you to this screen, essentially the home page, in which you'll see kind of at the top toolbar. Oops. There is a location where you can type in projects or permit numbers if you have those. Can you move the mouse to lift the zoom toolbar?
I think it's because we have just pull out.
Thank you. And can you, I'll go back here. Thank you. Okay. So up at the top, you have this record tool.
Sorry. I'm just verifying. Okay. I don't know why.
Okay. Thanks. So there's this record number where you can type in what project you're wanting to go directly to. Whether it be a permit, subdivision case, whatever it may be, you can go directly to that file from there. Up here on the top, there's a history, so you can drop down to the last previous records that you've visited. There's bookmarks here, any projects or permits that you want to flag or to keep more readily available to you. This is your dashboard, which we will come back to because that is where it keeps essentially all the active records that are under your account. And then any alerts that you may have, and then your shopping cart for paying and such. Here we have our different tiles of different opportunities or uses. We've got our planning projects, in which our subdivisions, variances, conditional use permits. We have our permits, our code enforcement, where you can submit a complaint if that's something you chose to do. There is this property address. This is currently the locations where a parcel, if you want to look up a parcel, and ownership information, that kind of information will be available there. If you wanted to set up an inspection, again, that tile would be for that purposes. Or if you wanted to register as a contractor, then that tile at the bottom right-hand corner for that purpose. Now, registering as a contractor will be helpful, again, because it's going to pull a lot of your information, so you can just hit a button, it'll just populate that automatically. So again, that's a spot where you can fill in your user profile. Oh, Nicholas, do you? So to start the application process, now this is very similar from projects and permits. It's done essentially the same way. Of course, there are some nuances between projects and permits, and it's customized specifically for that permit or project. So some questions won't be applicable to a certain project, and so they just won't be there. So it'll look a little bit different from case to case, but for the most part, it's set up the same way. So you'll click the permit in this case, apply for a permit. For this example, we're going to use the permit type will be a residential permit, and we're going to, in this example, select a one-family dwelling. From there, what we will do is we will find the location of where this permit is going to be connected to. And so what you'll do is there's this search bar. Oops.
Sorry.
Thank you. And it actually will recognize the text that you're typing in. So it could be anything from an address, parcel number, your AIN number, and it will populate all of the records with that matching entry. So you just select the right one from the drop-down menu, and then, or if you don't know an address, some parcels don't have an address yet, or if you don't know the parcel number or AIN, then you can also use the map feature if you wanted to click that button there, and that will launch the map software to where you can navigate to the location, select the parcel, and then it'll enter that parcel information. If you got the right record, go ahead and click next. If you wanted to scrap this, go ahead and hit discard.
There are some comments online that you're a little muffled, so I think you might not be close enough to the mic.
Appreciate that. Thank you. I'll try and speak up. So bringing us to the next page. This is an important slide because what it does, as I mentioned before, is it's customized for the permit application. And so according to the building divisions for this example, these are the required files for a building permit for a single-family dwelling. So what this slide is essentially saying is be prepared before you move forward to have this information, because this is what we're going to request of you in order to make an application. Also, just be mindful that we're looking for these files to be individual files and not one file with everything in it. It makes it extremely inefficient for us to have to pull these apart. So once you're aware that this is the information that you need and that you have available, go ahead and click Accept. Okay, next. Okay.
Year or?
Next one, please. Thank you. Everything with an orange asterisk is a required field, and so it will not allow you to move forward without information as requested. So you go ahead and type in the permit title, a description of the proposed work, and let's see, at any point, again, you can discard, you can save the application simply by closing your web browser. It saves it where you were from that point. Or if you wanted to undo, you can undo the work that you've done from that point forward. Next. The permit information here is where you'll populate essentially the request. Again, orange asterisks are required fields, so we'd ask you to go ahead and put that information. On the right-hand side, you'll see a list of questions with toggles, essentially answering yes or no questions. There may be additional questions that follow from each of those toggles. So again, if there is an architect or a designer, then it'll ask for that information, who the architect or designer is, and so on. Once you've got all the correct information, go ahead and click Next, which brings into our contacts. Contacts are, again, the applicant's designated contact person. The owner information is automatically populated from the permit location where you had earlier, and then the contract information there. You'll notice that there are these tabs here for me. If you are a registered user, this kind of goes back to the benefits of registering and filling out the information in the user profile. You just click Me and it automatically fills in all the information there. Again, for user, the designated contact person, same thing. Also, anything with a search field, if you don't know the contractor's information, you can search by whatever may be available, as long as they've registered, and so you can pull that information up there. Once you've got all the information in there correctly, go ahead and click Next. Okay, I don't know why it's not. Thank you. This brings us to our upload portion, in which all the required files that we mentioned earlier, this is where you're going to be uploading that information. So again, we're looking for each document as an individual file, and that once you've navigated to your saved location, go ahead and click Upload, choose File, and then Next, and then continue with the next slide all the way through until all the information has been submitted. You'll notice that you will not have the option to proceed without the requested file. So this is going to be one of the things that to track it that we're currently using was problematic for us, is that there were a lot of records created with zero information. And so we had no attachments, no plan information, no site plan, anything. And so it created a very inefficient system. This will no longer have the ability to submit an incomplete submittal. So again, please be prepared to have all of your project information to be uploaded in order to make that application. Otherwise, you won't be able to make the application. This is a conditions and acknowledgement page, essentially agreeing to the conditions, acknowledging that the information is true and accurate, and allowing staff to inspect the site for the proposed work. So go ahead and click Accept there. And then once you click accept, before you actually submit, this is kind of a preview or a summary of the information that you've entered in. What you want to do is just make sure all the information is correct. Once it is correct and you verified, go ahead and click submit. It'll notify you that it has been created. There is your permit number right here. You have the option of going back to the home page or creating another record if you choose. You'll also be receiving an email notification that the project or the permit was accepted. And here again is your permit number. If you wanted direct access, you can go into the application here to check on the status of your permit. That's just another opportunity to do that for convenience. So moving on to the user dashboard, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, this is your home page. The user dashboard is here. This is where you'll have all of your active records. You'll have pending records that you maybe were in the middle of, you decided to pause, and you wanted to come back to it. All of that, again, is saved information, so you don't actually have to complete it while you're sitting down. I know we all get disrupted from now and then. But if you click on that tab, you'll see, again, all of the inspections, pending records. Again, the pending records are the ones that have not yet been created but have been paused. Active records are the ones that have been submitted. When you make an application for a building permit, the building permit has already been assigned how many inspections are necessary for that particular permit. And so you'll see all of those under each one of your permits, unscheduled inspections. You'll have a list of ones that are scheduled and the ones that are completed. So you can go back through the history of all of your inspections. And then also there's this manually linked records in which you can, let's say you were not an actual applicant and you came into the job later on, you can link yourself to that project because, again, you weren't the actual initial applicant. So that, again, puts it in your workspace, or excuse me, your dashboard, so that you can be familiar and update, or see the status of that particular permit too. So for scheduling inspections, this is kind of that module here. If you wanted to schedule an inspection, then what you would do is go to the Not Yet Scheduled button there, and you would find the record. So in this case, there's a manufactured home permit. That's my manufactured home that I want to get inspections for. Here is the pre-populated list of inspections that are required for a manufactured home setting permit. If you are requesting your footings and setback inspection, then you would drop down the menu with the date selected, and that would be your method of scheduling an inspection. And then what that, oops, wrong button. What that would do is then pull it out of your not yet scheduled status and put it into your scheduled. So you can go in to see which inspections are scheduled. Your pending records module, again, this is applications that have not yet been completed or submitted. But if you wanted to get back into it, you realize, you know what, I don't have all the information I need to make an accurate or complete submittal, so let's pause it, and then I'll come back to it once I have the information I need. What you can do is go back into, again, the permits or the projects. You can hit that blue building icon, which would launch back into where you were before. Or if you're walking away from the project for whatever reason and you just want to get it out of there, go ahead and hit the trash button, and that will eliminate it from your pending records. Your active records, again, this will be what has been submitted and is currently under review. What I have for planning projects are permits or the contract information perhaps I'm in the middle of. When you open up one of your active records, this is kind of what you'll see. So if you wanted to check the status of a particular review, you've got your location. This is the project parcel information. This is the contact information for that we filled out earlier. These are the different reviews that have been set up, whether it be from staff or an outside agency. You'll be able to click on each one of those reviews and open any comments that a particular agency or staff has and see the status of that too. Any inspections will be located here. Again, what's scheduled, what's to be scheduled. Here is all the required file information that we uploaded earlier. We'll come to this in a moment here, but this is where you can upload additional information if it's requested, and the permit information and other acknowledgments as well. To make a payment. So once the permit is reviewed and approved, it is then ready to be issued. You'll be notified of the request of the permit being ready and that you can go in and make your payment. So under your dashboard, if you go to the active records, you can select that particular permit and you just add to cart. Or if you wanted to pick a number of different permits to pay at the same time, just add them all to cart. Again, you'll only see here, I believe, all of the active records that are ready to be issued. So you can only pay for those that are ready to be issued. So staff will notify you when the application has been approved and is ready to go. So this is, again, once you've collected add to cart, it will bring you into this page here to break down the fees for each record. And when you're ready and satisfied, you can go ahead and click pay, and that will bring you to the next page, which gives you the information for your payment. We're still working through some of the kinks here as far as how all of this is going to be set up. Certainly, if you wanted to make payment via cash, I think we will have an option here. It hasn't yet been created. Also, of course, you can at any time come into the office and make payments, and that would be an option too. Okay, submittal of corrected information. So should there be a need for information to be corrected, staff will notify the applicant that there is information that needs to be corrected. You'll go into your dashboard. You'll select the permit or the project in which the information is being requested. There's this file tab right here where you will select the revised information that you've put together. You'll upload the information by navigating again to where your saved location. Make sure, please, that it's titled, or the description of your file is easy enough to understand. It's hard for us to understand a project number that you may be using. So if we're asking for a revised site plan, then title it revised site plan. That way staff knows that this is what's being uploaded. So that is what I have prepared as far as slides and a brief introduction of iMS, just so that you know. We will have both this PowerPoint presentation posted online. You're probably familiar with the eTrackIt website, so it will be posted there. Furthermore, we'll have it posted on the website, our website too, kcgov.us. And then this will be broadcasted over YouTube as well. So if there's ever a time that you wanted to come and check it out, that would also be a location for you. What we want to do at this point, anyways, is open it up for questions. And so there, again, what we'll do is we'll just write down all the questions that we can and make those available as part of the PowerPoint online so that people can go back through those questions and see what the question was and what the answer is too. So with that, I suppose what we could do, if you again have questions through Zoom and you wanted to type them into the chat menu, you can go ahead and type them in the chat or raise your hand. That is an option to notify us that you have a question. Or if you guys have questions here, please, by all means, let me know.
I have a few questions.
Sure.
Are you guys,
Let's, I'm going to get a handheld mic just so that picks up, I think, for a little bit better. Just 1 second. Thanks, Connor. Test. Okay. Here, Connie, go ahead.
I have two questions. The first is the communication with staff. Is that all still through emails or is that incorporated in the system? And then the second question is, are you maintaining the e-check payment option? Because the fees are pretty minimal, so
Okay,
we
great.
like that.
So first question is make sure I got it correctly. Um, Correspondence. How does staff correspond with applicants? And is it still going to be via email, or is there some option for correspondence? Is that kind of the idea? Okay. So what I understand is that there will be an opportunity for staff to submit emails through iMS, and it'll actually log the email. I'm going to actually go back.
Sorry, let me get it.
So there's a one of the tiles is a log of all the email correspondence that's sent, and so anything that's both sent out and received will be logged there. So that information will be part of the active record. So that information goes through that. I don't know if it's an applicant. When an applicant is actually sending an email, is that information entered into the log as well, or is that something the staff would have to manually do?
Staff would manually do that, but any change in status gets an automated email to the applicant.
Okay. Okay. So all,
That's
great. So all the emails that is sent from staff will be entered into that log, and anything that staff chooses to upload for relevant information to the file, then they'll upload. But yes, email correspondence would be the preferred way. And then going back to the e-check payment option, that is what I was referring to. That is the idea, and I think that is going to be the method for payment. Yeah, it just hasn't shown yet. We're still kind of putting all that together, making sure it works correctly. But yeah.
Do you want me to throw questions up on the screen for you?
Sure. Let's go ahead and try that.
Or you want me to share the questions as well? Like on the actual presentation.
Let's just go through them from the top of the list. Yeah, that would work. Thanks. You want to pull up to the very beginning? We'll start from there.
Yeah, this is the first question. Yeah, first question.
Okay, so a question here we have is, what is the difference between contractor registration and public? And so I'm assuming that what the difference here, the question is that there's going to be some ability that a registered contractor will have that a public will not. So public in general will be able to view, but that's essentially it. They aren't able to upload information. They aren't able to modify or change any of the record information at all. And so that would be the major differences as to logging in as a contractor versus logging in as a guest or general public. So, okay, let's see. When applying for a mechanical application, will we still need to fill out the paper application? And so I'm saying no, there is no need to actually fill out anything via paper again. Certainly, if you feel most comfortable with doing that, we can manage it, but this whole system is set up to be convenient for online submittals. And so, no, you will not have to use a paper application, whether it be mechanical or subdivision. It can all be done through the iMS web. And a letter of authorization. Letter of authorization also can be uploaded through the application upload site. So you would just fill out the information there, upload, and that would be part of the record. Can we suggest that pre-app notes be added to project files and pre-app numbers going, and are pre-app numbers going to be available similar to eTracker? So pre-app files will be created the same way. And so we will have a pre-application file. They will have the same notes from staff, what the proposed project was. So all of that information will still be generated through iMS. You will still have an iMS account with a prefix for your pre-app number as it does today. Did you have something you wanted to add?
Yes, you need to turn them off on the table.
If you do, they can't hear from Zoom.
The one up there.
Oh, up here,
Just push the button.
that one. Sorry.
Okay. Push this button. Okay, so will the file naming labels be the same format? I'm assuming if we go back to can I navigate back to a slide, Nicholas? So I'm assuming what is meant by the question is this information here. So when the files are uploaded for each one of these different requested files, that will show up under the requested files here. So it'll have the same name as what was requested at the time you uploaded that information. I hope that answered that question. Go back to the questions, please. As far as agency reviews, the agency review, again, email notification will be sent out to the agencies that they have a pending review, which will show up here. They will log in to their iMS account and make their requests, make their corrections, make their notes in the file, update the status of the review. They can attach any information that they feel necessary. And so that is something that an agency will be able to do. Craig is currently working with agencies in a large scale to go through those processes, and there is more training, I believe, to come for agencies on that. On the upload files screen, it states the file size is limited to 10 megabytes. We often have drawing files larger than this. Will we still be able to upload those larger files? If I don't know, if I have a good answer for that at the moment. We'll have to confirm the file size. If it is 10 megabytes per file, then there may be an opportunity to perhaps break that file into different files for upload. But again, it's going to consider those individual files. Hopefully, 10 megabytes is enough for each individual file. But should there be an issue, we'll look into that and get you more information as far as the file size goes. Let's see. Elaborate on the process for agency reviews. I suppose with agency reviews, once the application has been submitted, it has been picked up by staff. Staff will then notify the agencies, the applicable agencies, for comment and review. Of course, this is going to depend on the record, whether it be a project and it's a subdivision or if it's a permit. And so staff will be assigned to the review of whatever project it may be and send out notification to the agencies. The agencies will receive notification via email that there is a pending review and that they can log in directly from the email, similar to when you're creating an account or be notified of an application being submitted. You can click there, or through the email you can log into the iMS suite, go to your dashboard, see your pending reviews, and then click the one you want by the due date. Next question I have, let's see. Is there a space to upload documents freely, or is only what iMS has designated to upload from the beginning, such as a letter of authorization. So I think letter of authorization is probably something that if there is, I believe, an opportunity to upload additional information that's outside of the requested files. So not in all cases will we require a letter of authorization. It depends on who's applying. If the owner's making an application, of course, a letter of authorization isn't required. And so it's not going to be an absolute required field because it just may not be applicable. But as part of the requested information, when staff looks at it and says, okay, we've got somebody else other than the owner making application, they can notify the applicant that this information is required and it can be uploaded here for additional or supplemental information. Is that that looks like the end of the questions?
Yes.
Okay. Um, were there any other questions that we had? Maybe we could, I don't know if someone was raising their hand or had a question they wanted to. Sure. Let me do that.
On the payment site, our clients usually pay the fees. Would they be willing, or would they be able to, like as a guest, get in there with that number and pay those fees?
So is your question the owner, let's say,
Yes.
as the owner, they would be able to have access to the actual record, and so they wouldn't be operating as a guest. So they do have the ability to log in, go to their file, and then pay as we've kind of gone through.
So they would have to create a username and password?
Yes, that's correct. So you're asking, sorry, this is a little. The question was, so the owner would then have to create a username and password, and the answer is yes. To get access in order to make payment, they would need to register as a user. Okay.
Two more questions than that.
Two more questions. Okay. Question here. When submitted for a major or minor subdivision, there are often pre-app meeting staff or order of decision imposed documents that may change depending on the project. Will IMS be able to accommodate this? So if we're talking about, I'm not quite sure I understand. Okay, I think I understand. There are instances where different projects are requiring different information, and uh, it may be part of a community sewer system, or so you may need like a will serve letter or something like that, where it's hard for staff to know based on those categories what's going to be an outright requirement because again it could be an individual septic systems or it could be a sewer system, and so we don't know based on the system itself to make that a requirement. And so while we will ask for the minimum required information, the applicant will have the opportunity under that file tab to upload any additional or supplemental information. So for instance, like that example that I gave you, a will serve letter. So if they may not be a required or requested file, but that is still a location where an applicant can submit that supplemental information and put that will serve letter in there. So if staff is coming back and saying, look, you need to provide a will serve letter, then this is where it would be located. Hopefully that answered your question, Andrea. If not, go ahead and let me know. The next question, is there a platform for us to practice or become more familiar with this process? That's a good question. I don't know if there is currently a test environment. We can bring that up with iMS to see if that could be possible, because certainly it might be fun to play around with it a little bit. I know staff has been doing that as well. I wouldn't call it fun per se, but it is good to at least get a little bit more familiar um, with what we will be going with here come July. Okay.
If I could interject, they can just create an account right now and go in the system and go through this permit submittals and practice.
Well, that's a good question. And it is easy enough to go into the system now that's active. It is a test database, and you can establish, register account, and then you can go through the submission process through either the permits or the projects or what have you. We do have it online, been listed at contact information for all those. It'll be on the website. So that'd be what I would recommend for anybody. Go through it, just work the nuts and bolts and identify some shortcomings that you may feel, because we're still in a phase where we may be able to make some corrections to benefit everybody. And that's the goal here, to get a really good product that's user friendly and more intuitive for you guys' needs.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. What we'll do is we'll run this by iMS just to make sure that that is possible. But everything that staff is doing right now is for testing. It is just kind of fake records, and so we can manipulate, change, do whatever we want, and so it's not going to change the actual live information. That would be nice to be able to make it available to the general public, and that way you guys will have the opportunity to play around with it. What we'll do is if that is possible, and again, following up with today, we'll make this resource available online, and the additional information and content is our goal. Ideally, what I would like to do is make video content for every aspect so that we can kind of, okay, well, what does my dashboard do? And then go through your dashboard again as a reminder and explain what I can do in my dashboard. Or, again, how do I create a permit record? All those things I would like to be able to make available via the website. So that is a goal of ours. But then, of course, maybe we can have a link to a test environment so that you can go ahead and log in, try it out, see how it works, and just become familiar with it that way.
Ben,
Yeah.
what's happening with all the historic records? Are they going to be accessible?
Yep, all the historical records will transfer over, and so that's part of the reason that you will need to log in as a new user, because we're going to need to connect all of your existing accounts to iMS, and so that's a reason why everybody needs to register. But yes, all of the historical records your numbers aren't going to be changing. All that information still stays the same. It will show up in your dashboard as your historical or active or pending, whatever it may be. Okay, let's see. Tiffany, very recently I uploaded a project that did not show up on my dashboard on eTrackit. Is there some safety net in this iMS program that will make sure everyone who is logged in and uploads will have those items on their dashboard? So going back to, let's see if I can go back. Yeah, thank you. So,
So let me get that back together.
so when an application is submitted, there is the confirmation that it has been received. And so you have that kind of that thumbs up uh, icon and also a notification via email. So when it has been submitted and iMS has registered it, then you will be notified in those two different ways. So if you do not receive an email notification or you don't get that create confirmation screen, then that means it has not been received.
Sorry, let me.
Okay. Sorry, having some technical difficulties. Try it. Okay. Thanks, Nicholas. So this is the screen that you'll see once it's been submitted. Create confirmation, and then the follow-up email will be sent directly to your inbox. So that should be verification that it has been received properly. Go back to the question. So Tiffany, hopefully that answered your question. Okay, so let's see. When will this new site become active? So we are going live July 19th. So when you are making your applications, you will not have the ability to use eTrackIt come July 19th. In fact, I think they're going to be shutting down eTrackIt on
17th at 5 p.m.
17th at 5 p.m. So that means you will not be able to upload anything over the weekend. It'll have to be done on that Friday. And then come Monday, iMS will be the go live, and that's how you'll start from there. Let's see.
The 16th, I'm sorry, 17th Saturday. Friday the 16th, 5 p.m.
Friday the 16th, correction, sorry about that. Friday the 16th at 5 p.m. will be the last opportunity to use eTrackIt from Monday morning. Do you know when Monday morning?
7 a.m.
7 a.m. Okay, thank you. Monday morning, 7 a.m. iMS will be live. Okay, so let's see. So current eTrackIt data from our current projects in progress will seamlessly transfer over to this new platform, correct? Correct. Yes. And so again, that is reason why you'll need to register as a new user so that iMS will link those projects to your dashboard. Okay. Well, I don't know if there are any other questions here or via Zoom, but oh, got one more. Okay, so our registration login and password info will be the same from our new registration process. It doesn't have to be. You can make it the same. It's up to you. So whatever you decide, you'll just have to re-register in iMS. Okay. Well, again, thank you guys for your time. I appreciate it, and I hope that as we progress and we move towards July 19th, that we'll find that this is going to be a much better product than what we have with eTrackIt. So if you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to reach out to staff. And what we're going to do again is post these questions with the presentation online so that people can go and see the information that we weren't able to have an answer that iMS will be able to follow up with and a resource in the future. So, okay, with that, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Take care.